Peace and blessings, everyone. This is going to be a little different upload from my normal upload. I was just out walking my dog. In fact, here he is. This is Buddy. Say hi, Buddy. You gonna say hi to everybody? He has a T-shirt that says, "I'm the reason we can't have nice things," and that was true when he was a puppy, but he's pretty good now. And so I was out walking here out in Mount Trashmore in Virginia Beach, and I just had a birthday last week on March the 2nd. In fact, Buddy just had a birthday too. He just turned 13, and that makes him, 91? Yeah, it makes him 91 years old. So, you know, as most of us do when we reflect on the fact that God gave us another year, we begin to reflect on that and thank God for His mercy and thank God for His grace and His steadfast love endures forever. We just, I was just reflecting on that. And it came to me, it dawned on me that some of you may not realize um, um, some of the things I may have went through, and I want to share one major thing that I went through, and that is a cancer. I was diagnosed with cancer back in 2011, June of 2011, about, was that 13 years ago? And so I can't tell you the amount of emotions that flooded my mind and entered my heart. Some were, anger and frustration and confusion. I just didn't understand what was going on. I was diagnosed with stage 3, I think it's squamous cell carcinoma. Squamous cell carcinoma is what it's called. It was a growth on the back of my tongue next to my throat, and it was at stage 3. So um, I asked the Lord, I said, why is this happening to me? I don't understand why this is happening to me. In my mind, I was, being obedient to the Lord, and I was doing everything I was supposed to do, um, and that He's asking me to do, and serving, and so on and so forth. So I said, why me? And He said, why not you? If I didn't spare my son for my glory, then what makes you think I'm going to spare you? And so that's the answer I got. Needless to say, I didn't ask any more questions like that um, of the Lord. So, the doctors said that there were several ways that they could take care of it for me. They could cut out half of my tongue. So, didn't choose that option. So, or I could go through pretty intense chemo and radiation. So, needless to say, I chose the chemo and the radiation. And so they said they would have to put a feeding tube in me before they started treatment, because at some point my throat would be so sore that I wouldn't be able to swallow. So I would have to get nutrition through a feeding tube. So they put in a feeding tube, and then they started, I think it was 8 weeks of chemo and radiation. Um, and so they gave me too much of both because I had some side effects as a result of them giving me too much. And I won't get into it too much. It's too much to tell the whole story here. I just want to stop by a few minutes to let you know, because I just realized that some of you may not know. Um, so they said after the treatment is over, about 3 or 4 weeks after that, they could remove um, the feeding tube. So after the treatment and after 3 or 4 weeks, I still couldn't swallow. So I was concerned about that. So I went back to my ear, nose, and throat specialist, and so we set up an appointment. My wife and I went, and they looked at my chart, or he looked at my chart and looked at my X-rays, and he was staring at the computer and at his desk, and he just got quiet. And I said, "Is everything okay?" And he said, "No, this is not good." This is not good. And he says the radiation completely severed through your esophagus, and that's why you're not able to swallow or eat. And I said, okay, so what are the options? What do I do from here? And he says there are no options. Um, you would have to have that feeding tube for the rest of your life. So I can't tell you the fact that he said that just devastated me, devastated my wife. I says, you mean to tell me that I would never be able to break bread and eat with my family and go out and enjoy a meal with my family ever again? So unfortunately, that is what I'm saying to you. So um, he said, if I tried it, I would kill you. It's never been done, he says. No one has ever reattached an esophagus. It's just too complicated. So after we sat there and talked for a while, um, he said, if you want, I can try it. And without even thinking about it, I said, yes, I want you to try it. He said, you realize you could die if I try to do this. I didn't even ask what the odds were or percentages or anything like that. And I said, I want you to try it. I think that must have been the Holy Ghost telling me to do that. So he says, okay, I have a partner that who's a specialist as well. He will go through your feeding tube and I will go through your throat, and we will try to shine a high intensity light and try to reattach. If we can see the light, there's a possibility that we could try to reattach it, but we're going in blind, and I could sever something when I cut through it. And so I gave him the okay on that, and he set it up. So they did it, and after I woke up, I think a few hours later, he came into my room and with his concerned look on his face, and he says, "What we feared happened because I think we severed something in your." And he pushed on my chest, so you hear that crunching. I said, "Yeah, that's air filling up your chest, and you could suffocate from that." And we don't know where the leak is coming from. We don't know. And so every day I would go and get an X-ray to try to figure out where it's coming from. So after maybe 2 or 3 days of going down every morning to get X-rays, he came back up and he says, "Your chest is not filling up with air anymore." He says, "Your body healed the hole. Somehow your body healed the hole, so it's not filling up anymore." So we know that was a miracle from the Lord, that the Lord healed the hole. So I was worshiping, praying God for that. So, it wasn't over after that. They had to do stretching. They had to do all these different things. They had to stretch my esophagus, and there was scar tissue. And it was a long journey, and it's too much to explain to you on this short video. But this is where God got the glory. You remember when I said it, he said it's never been done before. So he used my case to train new doctors, old doctors, how to reattach an esophagus. So for the first time, an esophagus was reattached through me for the first time. Now I'm just telling you what he told me. I'm telling you, if my wife was here, she could testify to it. But that's what he said. It's never been done. So I was the first case, at least in the area of Virginia, that has ever been done. So all glory to God. So here I am. They told me so many different things. You won't be able to sing anymore. I went back to singing and praise and worship. Went back into ministry. Um, they said that my thyroid would fail. I haven't had any problems with my thyroid. So many things, a list of things they said that it would never happen. You'll never be able to do it again. And but here I am. That's my testimony. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about health and fitness, and how I want to do everything I can to stay healthy, and not have to go travel that journey anymore. So I just want to give God glory. I just want to stop by to give God glory today. That He's so good, so merciful, so kind. And maybe at some point, I'll have my wife come on and tell her perspective. I mean, there's so many things I went through. I mean, I want to tell you how I became addicted to morphine. They gave me morphine for pain. I became addicted to that. And my journey in trying to break that addiction, and on and on and on. So many things. I want to thank everyone who came to visit me, friends, family, church members who came to visit me and to encourage me. There was a time when I knew I was just really set free. There was a time when I just sat in my living room and I said, Lord, if me living gives you glory, so be it. But if I have to die to give you glory, so be it. At that point, peace just rushed into my spirit. So I was okay either way. Whatever you want to do to bring yourself glory, Lord. So thank you for listening. God never promised us that we wouldn't go through trials and tribulations. He promised He'll never leave us and never forsake us. So that's the promise. But He never said that we won't go through trials and tribulations. So that was probably the biggest trial I've ever been through. Many I've been through, and He's brought me through all of them. But that was probably the biggest one. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. I pray that it encourages you. Anyone who's going through, I pray that it encourages you. God bless you. Goodbye.